Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Lorelei Shimayo, and this is MeWe Fairs, a safe space for authenticity and transformation. We have events throughout the Pacific Northwest, many online, and tonight we have one of our online panels, and the theme tonight is Healing the Witch Wound. There are 7 of us that are here tonight to support you, to explore this topic together, to talk about what the witch wound is and what healing the witch wound is about, talk about our stories, hear your stories. We're here to answer your questions and support you. It's free to be here, and there's a small price to ask a question of the panel. There's information in the chat. For those of you coming in, I'll be putting more information in the chat again for you. So let's get started going around doing our introductions. And yeah, so just introduce yourself, what you do. You can talk about all the modalities you do. You can talk about what you're focusing on tonight. Totally up to you. If you have a special, you can share that. Where you're sharing your work in the world. We're just interested in who you are and what you do. So let's see. I guess we didn't choose an order ahead of time. Um, DoveLight, are you good jumping in first? And we're gonna
Hi,
have so DoveLight's gonna go with 1 second, so we'll have DoveLight and then Anna and then Lorelei. All right, great. Go ahead,
hi.
DoveLight.
My name is DoveLight. You can find me on my Instagram at DoveLight Oracle, and I'm very grateful to be here. I'm just a regular person. Sometimes I good days, sometimes not so nice. But what connects me to the divine is my faith and my relationship to it. I truly believe that being spiritual, it's being human, so you can really detach from or the other. I do have a passion for reading through my connection to the divine. When I do the tarot cards, it's not only I'm focused on the images, but I'm actually tapping in the energy field of the people in a soul level, what is for my highest good to know at that moment. I love past life regression, shamanic work. I am from Peru, where indigenous backgrounds of the Amazon and the Andeans, and I walk the Mayan path with indigenous elders in Guatemala. So I am very grateful to be here. I'll be doing readings, and I also am hosting a men's retreat. I'm actually helping to host that men's retreat in Guatemala. It's all about men healing the sacred masculine, which I'm very passionate about too, because sometimes men or people with strong masculine energy, they feel like afraid to feel vulnerable because society imposes some roles on it. So I have that on my link trees if anybody's interested, and I have also a code 20% off if you use the code holiday. That's the promotion for today. And yeah, I'm just very grateful to be here as well, and thank you for being here.
Great. And you said the code today is holiday.
Yeah, holidays. Yeah.
Okay, great. Holidays with an S. Okay, great. Got that on here. All right,
Thank you.
great. So next we'll hear from Anna and then Lorelei and then Dolly.
Hi, I'm Anna and I'm a hypnotherapist. I also have this book, Witches, and it came from my own past life. When I explored my fear of talking about my occupation, I discovered that I had a story. So this topic today is very dear to me because I learned that I learned to be small. I learned to be afraid. And it was not easy to learn how to open up and how to speak with confidence. So today we are going to talk more about this topic. Which wound?
Thank you so much, Anna. Next we have Lorelei and then Dolly.
Hello, my name is Lorelei Hewitt. I am a modern mystic that practices ancient Nordic shamanic traditions. I do a lot of rune readings at the in-person MeWe fairs, and at this year at the Renaissance Fair all summer long, I did rune readings. Um, and I am also, like everybody else here, a medium and an energy healer. And I do a lot of the shamanic stuff with spirit talk, unraveling curses, which is a whole nother topic in itself. The witch wound is something that I'm really excited to work with you on, and with myself, I'm getting a little tongue-tied. I can feel because there's a lot that could be said about this. It's a, I think it's this
And
is
just
such a
before you go too far, I just
beautiful.
want to remember. Yeah,
Okay, we're
just
not doing that. We're just doing. Thanks
okay.
for the reminder, Lorelei. Okay, yeah,
Well,
and it can be confusing when there's two Lorelei's on the panel. So, thank you.
is there anything else you want to say about yourself? Go ahead about that before we dive in. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's fun having two of us on here. We don't usually have two Lorelei's. All right, great. We have Dolly, and then we'll have Susana, and then Jennifer.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dolly. I am an intuitive reader. I use various modalities such as mediumship. I use cards like tarot and oracle. I also do energy healing, and I'm very excited to talk about witch wounds today.
And it's your first time joining us in one of our events. We're very excited to have new practitioners join us.
Thank you.
Great. Susana is next. Oh, Susana, yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Susana with Dragonfly Holistic, where I have therapies for the body, mind, soul, and spirit. I'm a psychic medium, healer, and Akashic records practitioner, among a bunch of other things in the last 30 years that I've participated in on my walk of healing, the journey, the fire walk of healing. Anyway, I do the Akashic records tonight with around the witch wound and have a little more to say on that. So I look forward to seeing you and listening to you more on the panel. Thank you.
Thanks so much. And then we've got Jennifer.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me okay? All right. My name's Jennifer. I have been an actual practicing witch for over 30 years and a tarot reader for most of that time, about 20 years, 25 years. And what I'm offering this evening would be tarot readings and tarot guidance. Happy to talk about anything else. The witch wound is definitely an interesting topic and definitely a useful modality. And I look forward to spending time together and getting to know each other tonight.
Great. And I'm Lorelei Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader, body psychology coach, and matchmaker. While I haven't done specific active practices in the more modern witch community, I felt so connected to the history of witches and the practices and the wounding for so much of my life. And so I'm excited to be here all together with everyone to explore this. All right, we're ready to talk about the topic, everyone. So I just maybe, does anyone have anything else about themselves they want to say just before we dive in? Sometimes hearing each other, we think of something else. Anyone have anything else? All right, we're into the topic. All right, this is great. Okay. Well, let's see. We'll start off in the same order, and then we can just, all of us on the panel, just go ahead and take your time to share a bit, and we'll do rounds, so we'll come back again. So if you don't get it all the first time. So we start off with DoveLight, and then, yeah. Anything you want to say about the witch wound and healing of the witch wound? You want to share something of your personal story? It's totally up to you what you want to do. Yeah, so DoveLight, you have the opportunity to go first. Let us know if you want to go later. Great.
Oh, sorry, the signal went out. I was like,
Glad you're back. We're just starting to talk about the witch wound. So what is the witch wound or healing of the witch wound? Or if you want to share any of your personal story, it's up to you. Take a few minutes and we'll go around and we'll all get to share and we'll come back.
it is an honor and blessings to be here as the seasons are changing. We are entering the fall season. We just passed through the equinox, which is about one of the days that has been honored in ancestral tradition of the shadow and the light. It is very important to honor we as human beings. We're going to pass through cycles. And the witch wound, I truly believe that every single one of us is in this planet for a purpose and a mission. You can have a purpose by going to your job, by starting a career, but you can also everybody actually has that purpose if you open to it, to be kind to everybody else, to be of service. But there is also a spiritual purpose, which is connecting to being in this planet. Every one of us is here for a reason. Part of those shadows and those light, in that light, is the cycles. And I feel like we've been through cycles in humanity, periods when everything that is different or not common to say, I don't know how to say in English, common, can be fear. Many of us has ancestors who knew how to heal, who knew how to communicate with the spirits, who knew how to work with the land, who knew about herbs, who knew about spirituality in many different realms. Many of us, through those cycles in humanity, has been trying to, I don't know, I'm having a challenge today here with my speak, to annihilate it, exterminate it, invade it, or conquer. And many of us, in order to survive, have to try to adapt or hide or even conceal that wisdom. Nevertheless, we are very blessed. We are very blessed to be in times right now, for example, at this moment in the Zoom, when we can speak about that, when we can talk about that, when I can say, hey, I do have some tarot cards without nobody trying to burn me alive or knock at my door. And if you are open to that calling that you might have to explore spirituality in a different way that the typical society belief or orthodox religion, then perhaps that's an invitation to also open a window to speak to your ancestors, to speak to the land, to speak to your connections, to the divine, because chances are that you right now are the blessing of your ancestors who did the best they could to survive in order for you just to be here and to have the freedom to explore spirituality. I feel part of the witch wound. It is to an honor that which I feel like it is somebody who has knowledge, somebody who has wisdom. It is not what they portray as being something evil and ugly and all that. I think historically many traditions, many countries, many cultures have been demonized because people didn't understand them. So I truly believe the power of healing that which wound, it's not gaslighting, but honoring what happened to our ancestors, to see things as they were, but at the same time balance it with having the gratitude, the hey, I'm here for you, the acknowledgement. I can continue the legacy. You please teach me. Many of us don't have our ancestors alive, so we cannot ask them, but they know how to communicate with us, because in my tradition, the ancestors know you and they know what you need, even if you don't know them, because they're in the spiritual realm. So I feel a little bit about the witch wound is definitely reconnecting to your ancestry, because if you are here in a MeWe fair or in something holistic or something, I don't think it's by coincidence. I don't think it's just you just curious. I truly feel it's like a deeper calling to go back to the nature or natural ways. Okay.
That's great. Thank you so much. I think Anna was next in order, I think.
Yes.
I've lost track of the order. Great. Go ahead.
Let's just take a deep breath because we just got a lot of teaching, a lot. So, thank you. When I was a child, I was weird. Have you ever felt weird? Have you ever felt like you do not belong? And to me, it was so natural to talk to animals, to understand that all of them are intelligent. And I loved all of them, spiders, snakes, frogs. And I was repeatedly told, don't talk about it. This is weird. And it took me a long time. I had to reach a point when I was burnout, when I was anxious, depressed, and then I had to address my issues. And when I started exploring my deep unconscious, and I started going deeper, because we all have stories which are imprisoned in our body. And until we access them, until we start unraveling them, they're going to affect us. So I did not know why I was so afraid of people. I did not know why I was very intelligent, very educated, highly educated, and yet I wanted to play small. I was a people pleaser. And when I eventually started learning hypnosis and started getting clients, I was very surprised because a lot of women who came to me, I thought, why they're coming to me? They are so brilliant, they're so intelligent. I'm just starting. And then they would sit in a chair and would start talking about how all of it, they are forcing themselves to be confident, they are forcing themselves to speak up, and how deep inside they're very afraid. And when we started going deep to the roots of it, a lot of them, they would tell me similar stories, how as children they were weird. They could see auras, or they knew how to heal people, or they have other special qualities and how it was suppressed. And then when we would go deeper into past lives, they would learn that they were burned or tortured or stoned to death. And this deep fear of speaking up, letting people know that you have magic living in you, that was very, very deeply ingrained. And I came to a conclusion, just my conclusion, that witches were just women. As women, often they did not even know that they were witches. They just had those gifts. And then they had something that they experienced it and they learn those who survived. They often learn to teach children, do not speak up, play small. And we are living at a time when it's time to heal it and speak up. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna. And then I think Lorelei's next.
Yeah. So, yeah, this topic really started me down memory lane. I've never really self-identified as a witch, but other people have identified me as a witch over and over and over again. And it doesn't matter to me one way or the other, quite honestly, except that it's not usually a positive thing. It's more like a negative connotation. I mean, if you look at Halloween and the costumes for witches, at least when I was a kid, now it's a little bit different, but they were ugly. With green faces and warts. And I remember looking at those thinking, well, I don't get that. Sometimes I think, at some point we need to stand up and, it's like get rid of the ugly witch costumes because that's such a bizarre thing. So it's deep in our culture and it's woven into our fairy tale stories in Disneyland movies. Um, but yeah, when I was in high school, um, people thought I was a witch. It's like looking back at it, some of the things I did, it's like, yeah, well, maybe I could see why that story got started. Like I was the very first girl to ever take wood shop. Really made my wood shop teacher angry. He told me that if I wanted to quit the class, not even show up, he would still give me a C. I was like, F you. So you want to know what I made? I made a Ouija board. So yeah, I guess I kind of understand why they started, saying that. And that's only one of many, many stories in my high school years. But my family has thought, my mother lovingly has given me books on witchcraft over the years. I'm like, this is really lovely, but it's not my practice necessarily. Um, I had parents that would not let their children play with my children because I meditated and I was an energy healer. I've had people literally run away from me and not want to touch me when they find out that I'm an energy healer. I have um, my first husband was incredibly embarrassed. He's like, when I would go to parties and we'd have discussions, I can't help it. I go there. This is just my interest. It's like I dive deep. And I would get a lecture from him. We're not married anymore, but he was embarrassed by what I did. My boys never told their friends what I did for work. So it's deeply ingrained, even now, not just for us that practice these magical, wonderful, beautiful nature traditions. But in the culture that we live in, there's fear around people like us. They're afraid of us. And we feel that as psychics. We feel their fear. So it's kind of, it's something that I feel like, yeah, healing those past life things is super important, but it's also in this lifetime. I mean, perhaps it's because those past life things hadn't been cleared that I experienced some of that in this lifetime. And I guess, the one thing that I do want to say is that I love how witchcraft has as a resurgence. And I believe that's because of two things. One is that it's something that allows women to be empowered and to have a direct connection to God, to the divine, to the goddess, whatever. In the Abrahamic religions, women aren't allowed that. They're separated from men, and some of the more traditional practices of that. They're and some of the really orthodox traditions of those Abrahamic religions are not even allowed to touch the Torah, the Bible, or the Quran or whatever. Not even allowed to touch it. But in this, what we do, we're not only allowed to touch it, but we're allowed to like get in the dirt, we get dirty with it. So yeah, more power to that. I think of them as nature traditions, quite honestly. Anyway, so that's all.
That's great. Thank you so much. I love the evolution of your stories to like I've never really identified, but then all these things show up. It's great. All right, did we have Dolly next? Oh, Dolly's taking a break. Let's come back to Dolly after. So let's see. Susanna, I think, is next.
Oh, sorry, let me get my piece of paper that I wrote my notes on.
Yeah, go ahead. Take your
So
time. Give
for
yourself
me,
a
it was I hadn't thought about it for a really long time, but when I about the witch and the witch wound and burning of the burning on the stake kind of thing. But some of my first experiences when I started into the Akashic record work had to do with burning at the stake, and I was able to access when that happened and how it happened, had the memory, had the sensation of it all. And then it was released. There was an element of release, but it was really intense. And I have to say, I mean, as I'm hearing other people talk on this panel, I'm like, oh, I relate to that, the stoning. I've had dreams of being stoned. In this lifetime, and also the element of my ancestors. I personally am very phobic, like talking, like right now is really scary. And being seen and being heard is really intense at times. And when I look at my phobias, I'm also connecting them to, oh, my mother was really phobic on different levels, and it goes back to her mother and so on. So it carries through, and also the carry line, the ancestral line of being a healer. So witches weren't like, yeah, brewing the mix of, they weren't doing stupid things. They were helping people. They were healing people, and then they got controlled or taken over. So and murdered, that dynamic. So we all know that the story there. I don't need to work with that, but just knowing that through the line, carried through the healer line, that has occurred in many lifetimes, not just even in the burning, the burning times. It really dates back on a continuum in the past, just to control the woman. the feminine. And so it's intense, but I'm really grateful to be here tonight to really work with it. And oh, I do remember this is ongoing, and it's not just me; it's the collective and the scarring on the collective as well. And I also feel like during this time where we're so oppressed, we're coming into a really militarized lifestyle. You know, we're being threatened daily. It's bringing up those memories. It's bringing up stuff for a lot of people, and they don't have a concept of, oh, this isn't just in today's world. It's, you know, a multitude back. So that's, I think, all I need to say. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you so much. And then Jennifer's next.
Oh, they're in. Sorry. The witch wound, for me, when I think about the witch wound, it doesn't even just tie back to witchcraft and the burning times and those sorts of things. It's almost an archetype way of looking at things because it has to do with trauma and often ancestral trauma and long lineage trauma. Anybody who's ever been through traumatic situations, there's something that I've always said, which is the DNA remembers, that you will remember the things. And with that, it's reasonable to assume that things that happen to our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents will also show up in our life in some way and our soul in some way in just how we approach the world. All of that being said, a lot of this often manifests in women and the way women are treated in our society, which I think is how we get the popular name of witch wound. And many of us, at least in my generation, I have worked a lot of times to try and learn not to walk around grinning like an idiot. Because as a young lady, I was told that if you smile, you will have more friends. If you would just smile more, you would be pretty, those sorts of things. And it makes you scared to be seen, scared to how you behave. And conversely, we have an entire, you know, the resting bitch face, right? Because if you're not smiling like an idiot, obviously you have an anger problem. So these are some of the ways that we see it show up. And I think the witch wound is a great modality for feeling these things out in your life and finding ways to heal them and deal with them and overcome them, or at least put them to rest, perhaps. And most of metaphysical and energy work and spiritual work, that's just a lot of what our journey is learning how to become our truest self and be able to hear our heart above the fear and the worry that the human condition brings to us so often, and to be able to go freely into the world and share ourselves graciously and loudly and with all sorts of pride, whatever it is that we have to share. So that's a little bit of how I kind of see this.
Great. Maybe before Dolly's back, and Dolly, whenever you're back, let us know. Maybe could you say a little bit as that you think of all the panel? So you and Anna, I think maybe are two people that more actively identify. Maybe Anna, you shared about it more as like memory and your book and things like that. But I'm like, you think of yourself as you see yourself, you know, you are a practicing witch now. Like, can you say anything about the current community? And is this in the dialogue? Is it discussed in any explicit way, or it's really just the bonding and the connection, the expression of who we are now? That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes some sense. It's definitely, I did a past life regression with some folks, and there was an interesting part where he's like, you just kept going on that the stupid humans killed you. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I think that often as we reincarnate, we do come back to some of these things. In the current society, depending on where you are, will depend on how free you can be. So I live now in the Pacific Northwest, And the people at work know that I consider myself a witch. There are people who know that I do tarot readings. I have unfortunately had the opportunity to live in Alabama on 3 different occasions. And when I lived there, I don't even take my books out of their boxes. I am very careful at how I am and who I am and how I present myself, because the fear is real. And it's interesting to see the dichotomy of living the 2 ways. To live yourself in a box, in a container, shielded and covered and not shining your light, is just a very painful existence. So it's good to see that we move forward and that people learn to understand that you don't need to be afraid of anything that I am, that it's very different from Christian society and how Christian society has presented the witch, as it were. And we see a lot of it now, in where you'll have folks who do kind of witch adjacent things. They like crystals and they like the moon, and maybe they read tarot cards, but they don't ever use that W word because there's so much stigma and there's so much fear. I myself even was on this path for probably about a decade before I was comfortable saying that I'm a witch. That's what I am. I used to tell people that I kind of practice this nature balanced Buddhist kind of thing, was how I would describe it, before I really embraced it and moved into my belief system and how I like to approach the world. But I find it's not that different. It's funny, if I follow somebody who considers themselves a homesteader, traditional Christian kind of thing, they often live a lifestyle that I'm very appreciative of, at one with the seasons and working with nature and doing a lot of these other things. There's just sort of this pie slice of their life that's different from mine, and how we couch those things and the seasons and that sort of thing. So yeah, moving forward, it would be good. I think a big part of healing the witch wound would be for all of society to understand how much more we are alike than we are different. So
That's great. Thank you. And I understand that Dolly is back. And this, Dolly, before you go, I want to just have this very clear in the recording, just as it came up in a topic with someone where I was just texting. This is typically thought of as a women's, or as women's history and women's wounding and burden. And I want to be clear that I particularly define it as people raised as women, as I'm like, I'm non-binary and I totally identify with this. I was raised as a woman. And so there could also be trans women and men that are connected to this and identify with this. And there are men that practice and like just all kinds of things. So I want to just make sure that we know that this is inclusive of everyone. And I mean it that way, even though we might at times talk about it as a women's thing. All right, great. Dolly, we're just talking about, gosh, I can't think, the witch wound and what it is, and then healing the witch wound and what does that mean to you. And if you want, you can share any personal stories or anything like that. We're just going around doing that. So take a few minutes.
Okay. So excuse my voice. I'm trying to get over this nasty cold. So you might hear a little bit hiccups, and excuse me because I do have little ones. So you might hear them in the background. So I do apologize in advance for that.
Don't worry about it. It's great. We include all of life here in these panels.
So the biggest thing for me, like, I didn't even think about witch wound until like I really started like integrating and researching the topic. So basically for me, the hardest thing for me as my witch wound was the fear of being seen and showing my spiritual side and always second guessing my intuition. So as a kid, I was a little weirdo. I was always looking up the moon phases on the little newspapers. I was doing, you pick the daisy petals and like pick them off, or looking at the clouds and trying to read them, like all different kinds of sorts of things as a kid. Those fortune little cootie catcher tellers. I was doing all of it. And I remember, like, since I grew up in a very religious home, it was very frowned upon of. But it was something that made my heart so much joy. So over time, I found out, like, I had my abilities to see certain things and spirits, but I would always push it to the side because in the family, growing up in religions, it was considered frowned upon, taboo, all that sort of thing. So I was always trying to hide that, or hide when I was doing things that were of that nature. So as I grew older, I felt like one day I had this weird calling, like I have to buy a pair of cards. So I was like, I have to buy it. So I felt called to do so. I went to a metaphysical related store and I just started getting a bunch of card decks. And after that, I just skyrocketed off and I started working on trying to be showing off my spiritual side. And I realized, oh, this is something I'm really good at. I should really focus on trying to do this more. And so I started dabbling into more, got mentors, started working with different modalities. And I started actually listening more to my intuition instead of just doubting that. And so I think that's what helped me. And also learning how to speak out more because, witches were persecuted and they didn't really have that voice. So, many of us may relate to not having the confidence to speak our mind or be bold or courageous to do what we desire. So for me, that was a huge thing that helped me to help heal my witch, was being more bold about my spiritual side, or my witchy side, as people would say, and just really trying to be comfortable and find like-minded individuals as yourself that really can connect and I can thrive and grow with. So that's my little story.
That's great. It's great. I realized like I should say something too. I am, and I've been getting over being sick too, so I'm like aim to not talk as much. But I think maybe something I want to talk about is, well, one, I also realize I'm autistic, and so that's part of how I've not fit in. And part of how I've not fit in is the way that I feel different. And part of it is how I am different. And part of it is the wound that I've carried. So maybe I start a little bit from childhood. I don't know how I have this, but I was connected to my grandma, my mom's mom, as being a witch, and like the line of witch, and so I'm sure there's people practicing in that line of my family, and then it makes sense that in the other sides of my family, they're all the areas that they're from. It all makes sense that I have it, in that sense, ancestrally, and as well as just culturally holding so much. And simply being a practitioner of all these things, and then that I host a community of all these things, right? So all these ways of practicing. So I want to speak more to like my personal burden of not belonging, and then some of this wound that's part of that. So what I think of it as like current witchy community that names itself as witchy community, I haven't included myself fully. Like, so I haven't felt included, but I might story that it's about others, but really I haven't included myself sufficiently. And I think that there may be some of it in that I'm awkward and weird and different in some ways I don't quite fit in. I'm non-binary, the ways that I'm autistic, so there might be ways that we still play this out with each other too, and that we don't all include each other. I want to own that ultimately it's me and my responsibility to include myself. And that's really the healing and how it's each of our own parts. So like it's present in the question, Jennifer, and the way I was asking you before Dolly got back on, it's all like my wounding is all in that question. And then as you answered, I'm like, oh yeah, this is totally my story. So hopefully everyone's getting through enough of that meaning of all that of what I'm sharing, but just how like all kinds of healing, layers and layers and layers and layers. So yeah, I've always connected with this community inside, and then all the various ways that I've expressed who I am and how I'm in this community now on the outside, and so much more on the inside that's yet to emerge. All my work with people, it's been I guess 20 years now, continuing on my healing journey of myself and learning all these tools to work with other people. It's been almost 20 years in a more explicit way, working with healing other people. It's all helping people find their power and find their authenticity and express that. And to me, that's really what this healing this wound is symbolic of. And it really is and symbolic of for everyone. All right. Well, let's see. I'm going to double check again. I don't think anyone has said they want to ask a question. If you want to ask a question, it might be very specifically on this theme. It might be on your history. It might be on your own wounding, your own inclusion, your own gifts. And it could be about anything really, because we bring so much to this panel and we're here for you whenever you want to explore. If you have a general question about any of this, feel free to put that in the chat. We're happy to talk about those things. And if you want to ask a specific question, get specific support, we would love to do that with you. It is 20 to 24 sliding, 20 to 28 sliding scale, or $12 for BIPOC folks. You can pay on Venmo or PayPal or on Humanitix. There's information in the chat. I'll check again to see if anyone has paid. If you do pay, please let us know in the chat, and then we're going to keep talking about this theme. So, all right, DoveLight, I see you back on screen, and we are back to you too. So, is there more you want to say about the theme, or are you just here?
Oh, well, one of the interesting ways is to do a past life regression or ancestral healing, or even tarot cards about readings about your past lives. I truly feel like which one it's about also acknowledging that we are unique, and sometimes because that uniqueness reflects to others our light, people sometimes can get intimidated by what they don't know or what they might feel safe for them, which might not be our case. I was listening to Anna, and that was absolutely my story. Even to this day, I can walk by a regular street and suddenly I feel this calling to touch a tree, but I'm not just being like a hippie or something. I can literally touch the tree, feel their emotions, and also send their emotions. And it's almost like a language that is non-spoken. It's an emotional language. Same thing with the animals. I have built a relationship with the land, with the park close by, in the environment. So sometimes when I pray and I give offerings, because when you go visit a friend or somebody, you sometimes you take flowers, something you're nice. I send offerings in this area, in the Lenape area, will be tobacco. Anything that you offer from your heart to the land is well received. They are feeling the emotions. Sometimes I just pray or say thank you, and instantly I don't look for signs. They come, and I know because that relationship, non-spoken relationship. And this is not something that it's only made up for me. Every single one of us have that ability, that childlike innocence to believe, to know that the animals, the plants, the fairies, the tales are alive. They're all only a different form of consciousness. And sometimes people can judge you for your belief. So I feel like part of the healing, the witch one, it's honoring your uniqueness and the way that you express your light and your energy within this planet. If you see how many types of flowers there are, how many different dogs breeds there are, how many different kind of trees, how many different everything in this universe, planets, stars. It is impossible that we humans are supposed to be just a simple way, everybody the same, you know? Pitbull will not tell a chihuahua, oh, you're not a dog. Only humans do that. And so I was like, wow. So I truly feel the power of reconnecting to our divine. It's honoring that you came to this planet to express yourself in a way that feels comfortable in you. And as long as you're not hurting yourself and you're not hurting others, part of your soul journey is to trust and to be there for yourself. I do honor and believe that it's to respect everybody's opinion, everybody's religion. I do honor, but I don't like when somebody imposed on you their belief. In the Mayan cosmology, Nana Marina, which is one of my elders, they always say, we don't talk about God, we talk with God. And now I'm starting to understand what they mean. It's that sometimes instead of just saying, I'm from this religion, or I do this and I do that, how about showing it by the way that you are? By the way that you have your connection to the divine, that's going to be a reflection on how you treat others. So sometimes it's also to learn how to put our boundaries. Maybe I don't feel comfortable enough to share this with this at my work, but I can go to the MeWe community to speak with somebody about paranormal, and that's okay. Maybe I can speak with this with my parents because they believe I'm from the devil. Hey, how about my sister? She's open to it. Or we can share dreams. What do you dream about? Why not? So one of the most important things is also to know that you're not alone. and to find like-minded people in community, because that's the blessing of 2025 and so on, that we can do this right now. And yes, definitely a little bit of the witch wound right there.
And I do agree, it is so wonderful that we are sober now compared to how we were even just a few decades ago. And it's wild and crazy the way that things are going in the direction of not opening more at the moment here in the US and in some various other places. Well, we do have a question in the chat, kind of a combination of two questions. We could go there. These are general questions. If someone has something else they want to share at the moment, that's fine too. But let me go say something about these two questions. So I think they're from the same person. Yeah. So it's, is doing spells bringing bad karma? And I had the question, I mean, like spells with a negative intention, like positive intention kind of thing. And then there's also, are there spells to turn on gifts as a witch? So this brings up the whole thing of like spell work and like positive intention, negative intention, and you know, like shortcuts and all kinds of symbolic steps and all these things. So yeah, great. Anna's got something to share. Go ahead. Yeah, and Anna's raising her hand in Zoom. That's an easier way for me to know when people have something to say. I see Lorelei wants to say something too. Yeah, and Jennifer. So go ahead. Yeah, Anna and then Lorelei and Jennifer. This is great.
So first, to understand spells, if you imagine just voice, just flow of air, may have no meaning, or may have meaning already if it's a certain intonation. And then let's add shaping this energy with our body. You can say love. You can say hate. Now you have different forms. They are alive, but usually they don't live long. They has gone. So spell, speaking with intention, you repeat it, you put your energy into it, you see it, you feel it, you embody it, and you send it. So it's kind of more deeper. So if you are a good person and you have good soul and good spirit, but you are angry at someone and you want to send them bad intention, guess who first has to embody it? You. You have to shape this hateful, harmful, toxic energy. And as you send it to people, we all are connected. We all are a part of the same ocean. So you get it. But let's imagine you want to heal somebody. And then you speak with intention repeatedly, selecting words. Heal in love, in light, heal in love and light, and you send it, who will be the first who get this energy? You again. So think what you are speaking into existence. You are getting it too.
I'm just going to say very explicitly, I think you're saying words are examples of spells, and the energy with which we say them is determining part of what the spell is, right? The impact of the spell. Ah. Okay, so Lorelei and then Jennifer and then DoveLight.
So I don't believe that a spell inherently brings bad karma, but it does certainly create karma, like everything does. My perspective of the human mind, I've been meditating almost every day since I was 17, so like over 40 years now. We're blobs of light without our bodies. That blob of light is made up of a gajillion particles. Particles are smaller than atoms, particles of light. Whenever you think of a person, a place, a thing, a little bit of your mind goes to that person, place, or thing. When you practice magical arts, you actually have more power when you meditate, when you dance, when you do things to bring in the energy. You have, that's a light worker. You're working with light. You have more light that is part of your awareness. So whenever you think of a person, place, or thing, more of that light actually travels to that person, place, or thing. So if you're imbuing an object, say you're making a doll, or a talisman or something like that, part of your, what I consider your mind, is being imbued in that object, and you're connected to it. You have to resonate at the frequency of the energy that you're trying to imbue the object with, or the intention that you're trying to create. So if you're in a very, I think this is a lot of what Anna was saying as well. But when you're in perfect alignment, and that's what people also will use, astrology. They use different objects of the earth for to create a, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, we, like, if you want lots of things that represent the color red, or lots of things that represent sweetness. Oh, I know. You
Are
probably,
you working correspondences?
yay, thank you. Yeah. The correspondences. So you use these things, but you are the feeder of the energy. You're the one putting all the pieces together. So you have to resonate with that. Do you want to resonate with something really divine and wonderful, like love, blessings, prosperity? Or, there are people that create curses and that do that kind of thing. And you're connected to that really negative energy. And that's my perspective. It's negative. Maybe somebody else doesn't have that experience. But just really quick, the reason I call that karma, it's not just consequences, is because your mind survives your body. And those thoughts, those connections, this is a much bigger discussion, of course, those will survive death. They survive death. So they tumble with you through your next lifetime. So somebody that you work with, or something, it creates consequences that ripple through time and space. So yeah, it creates karma. Is it bad or is it good? It's a matter of perspective.
Great. Thank you so much, Lorelei. Next, we have Jennifer and then DoveLight. And we've got another general question come in.
There we go. Sorry, clicked the button the wrong way. So do spells have karmic consequences? I would say not spells in general. It would depend some on your intent. What spells definitely have is they take your energy. So they take you putting things into it. You have to put effort into it. If I have not built the energy and created the space and done all of the inner work and energetic work, I am just mixing herbs in a bowl. I am just burning stuff in a pot. It is not a spell. So there's a lot of you that goes into these things. And I think sometimes maybe that's what people sense as karmic energy. To do this work sometimes takes a lot of energy, so that the next day or week you might feel drained and feel exhausted and feel a lot of ways, which could be interpreted as a karmic consequence. And all that said, I do think your behavior and the way you act towards all beings on the planet, not just the other humans, but the animals and the plants and all the things, does have consequence and reverberate onto you. Just as Anna and Lorelei had said, the energy connects us all. It's a giant web. We do not stand alone, no matter how much you might think you do. Your actions have some consequences. Other people's actions will swing back to you. There's a lot of interplay that goes on with all of this. Real quickly, I guess the next question was, are there spells to turn gifts on as a witch? I don't know that there's necessarily spells. I think one of the biggest things to keep in mind is that it is the practice of witchcraft. And Lorelei had talked about practice, and Anna talked about practice. So it's a muscle that you build and develop. You have to actively engage in a lot of this work to start to build the skills, to start to build the talents, to start to hear the universe, the intuition, the spirits, however you want to name these things. It's a practice that takes time and effort and energy. And you're in the right place. There's wonderful practitioners here. Lots of us are willing to teach and share and answer questions, but it takes time. There's no easy fix. You can't just light a candle and have it all turn on.
Great. Thanks so much, Jennifer. And then DoveLight.
Are there spells to turn on? Vijay is doing spells bring bad karma. I truly have become aware that here in societies, like in the city, like a lot of people are throwing negative energy unconsciously. Oh, I'm jealous. Why she has a boyfriend, or why do they raise their paycheck, or why this person got a promotion, or why this person is so happy. It doesn't have to resonate with you, but I truly believe that every single thing we do consciously, that you are aware, everything you give back, it will come back to you. It's the nature in law. You eat, you go to the bathroom. You breathe in, you breathe out. The sun come in, the sun come out. The nighttime comes, and then the sunrise and the sunset. It is just the law, the cycle of life. So, for example, if I go outside and I by accident step over a cat, and I'm sorry, cat, I didn't see you there. Oh, there was no karma because I wasn't aware. But if I consciously see a car and I consciously choose to, hey, let me hurt that car, boom, there is something energy that I'm putting consciously there, and it's gonna come back. Usually, the highest person who the higher entity which balance it will be your own higher self, because your own higher self has the eternal memory of oneness. So it's not judging you. It's saying, oh, maybe I should have done that better. Or what about if my human self understand what it's like to be in the other person or other being place? Because it's just a balance. So it's not that there is somebody punishing you. It is just that your higher self connected to the oneness will balance things out. Also, what I was talking about, the karma, I truly believe it, because whatever you give out, either it comes back to you in this lifetime, it comes back to you through your ancestral line or through your children's. Children's are an extension of your body. They were made up of your own body, and they carry the DNA memory. That's why sometimes people have to do ancestral healing for something their ancestors did. I don't have nothing to do with you, but that person did it, and through that person you got life. Little bit fair and unfair. So I truly believe that we have to be conscious of our thoughts, because our thoughts are like little arrows that we throw to people if we're consciously thinking with envy, with jealousy, with this and that for a long time. There is nothing wrong to feel human emotions, nothing wrong. But you're going to consciously think about someone and wishing them bad, then you're not only hurting that person, you're hurting yourself at that moment. The moment that you are in that circle of negativity, you're lowering your immune system, you are lowering your ability to breathe better. And like I say, it is not about not feeling your human emotions. You have the right to be angry, you have the right to be mad, you have the right to be sad. But if after allowing yourself to feel it, you just want to choose to keep all the time with those emotions, to keep with that negative intentions, to keep with that, you want to have a consequence towards the other person and to you. And this is my one for all. This is the advice that I give it to everybody through all the MeWe fairs. Have a connection to the divine. Talk to it. Ask for protection. Ask for guidance. Because it's not the same to wish that somebody wish you bad. They can actually hurt people. They can make them sick. They can make them fall. They can make their pets be sick, because sometimes the pets sacrifice for their human. It's like a soul contract. Like they just so unconditionally loving, and sometimes the pet will take upon the things, the negative energy that people are throwing. Sometimes you are around people who are depressed. Sometimes you're about people who are very anxious, but sometimes you're about that type of people, and you can get negative energy through them, and also kind of brings you down, get you sick. It's not that some people are bad per se or are wishing you bad. It's just that for whatever reason they're choosing to be in that negative state, and if you are a person who is more connected to the light, you might get that energy. So cleansing is very important. And like I was talking about the pets, I think if you do have a connection to the divine, it's not going to be the same that I pray every morning or every afternoon, or I Archangel Michael or whatever they did. You believe, please guide me, protect me, bless me. You know, it's not going to be the same to somebody who does an actual prayer who don't. The person who don't still have spirit guides around them. But if you consciously have a connection and talk to them and have a relationship, those things have more like a little bit of more like of your free will to push things away from you. They even protect you. Sometimes you don't even have to do nothing because you already asked them to do so. And things, people move away from you. People don't like you and go away. Close opportunities or doors closes, but that's good because that's from people who has a negative energy. So a little bit about that, about karma. But yes, you definitely have to put an intention and an effort and an energy and a mind focus for something to be considered like a conscious spell. So something that you're conscious about. Are there spells to turn your gift as a witch? Depending on your soul contract, because most of us, we are born with all our gift opens, but eventually with time they close. Some of them don't. I truly believe, like Jennifer was saying, it's a muscle that we have to learn how to trust ourselves and learn how to listen in the way that our messages or the information is coming through us. Once you trust yourself, and then you're gonna be like more open and more like, hey, I'm a witch, or hey, I'm very intuitive, hey, I'm a medium, a psychic. Sometimes we do have those gifts, but we're not aware how they work because we don't take the moment to actually listen to the way that they work. Also, your subconscious knows best. It is better. It's not like, oh, you have your third open and then you know everything. If you don't have the wisdom or the experience, you might become crazy. You might become schizophrenic. You might go to the mental health. You might be scared if you see things that you are not used to it. So the best spells, if you will, it's to really take the moment to meditate, to practice, to get to know yourself, build your muscle. Because people who have schizophrenia, and you can read about this with Dr. Luis Melmadrona, Coyote Medicine. He's one of my elders, elders. He is a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and a doctor who also is from Lakota and Cheyenne ancestry. And he also have this belief that people with schizophrenia have a third eye very open, and everybody listens to voices. The difference between schizophrenic people and I guess typical people, I don't know, typical psychics, I don't know how to say it. It's that we know how to say no to the voice. Like I hear something, no, I don't want to hear that. Oh no, thank you. Oh no, schizophrenic people can't. They don't know how to close it. They don't know how to say no. This is why the recommendation is to go at your own pace. Do not compare yourself with others. People can teach you how to do readings. People can teach you how to do intuitive development, but nobody can really feel how the gifts are passing through you, only yourself. That's a little bit about to turn yourself into a witch. I truly believe you put a hat and you become a witch. That's the easiest as well, I guess. Thank you.
Great. I want to say a little bit of maybe I think of as a summary of some of the things that people have been saying. It's the intention that one builds into it to give the spell the power that is the thing that can be used to open your gifts. It's the building of that intention and that work that you do, the readying that you're doing of yourself, the willingness that you're opening. Those are the things that are effective. That's how the spell is effective. It's that you're doing the work for whatever it is. And there are ways of aligning one's work, aligning one's energy to be more powerful. So I think that's some of like learning how to set an effective intention, or how to set things out effectively in the world, how to make the impact that we want. And it's owning that, well, there's so much to be said there. Yeah, great. So we have two other general questions, and I want to skip to, well, does anyone else want to say anything else about spells and karma and spells for opening gifts? Give us on the panel an opportunity. You want to say a little bit more, DoveLight? Go ahead.
Maybe, I don't know if it's popular in this country, but I'm going to tell you about most of Latin American countries. The because people get scammed. The reason why I'm bringing awareness is because people get scammed for this thing. And I'm going to tell you with the humbleness of my little knowledge. There is a source of unconditional love out there. And that source who loves us so much cannot force us to believe in him or her on it, cannot force us to do good if we don't want to, in the illusion of this planet where we choose to do wrong. Sometimes we wonder, why this war? Why this hatred? Why this massacre? Why all this darkness in this planet? Why humans hurt each other? It is not God who's doing that. God is giving us the space to allow the experience of living it. It's our own free will who's choosing to be separated from the light of God, which we carry. But for whatever reason, whatever soul journey, we are choosing to be separate. If you think that powerful higher intelligence cannot force a human being to love a bad, be a good human, be a divine human on earth, don't do bad to others, cannot force us, because that's part of our growing lesson. Do you think somebody who's gonna charge you $1,000, $100, $20 is gonna make somebody fall in love with you? Like, that's the most, I don't know, trendy scammer out there. It is impossible. No matter what tradition, no matter what culture, there is a spirit, because there is light, there is shadow, there is higher being, and there is dark entities, dark demonic consciousness as well. There are spells and there are work and there are who can actually make a person get sick, get crazy, lose the will, and be manipulated. In some traditions that actually exist, but it's not making the person love you. And everything that you give up, it will come back to you. It is better to work on self-love. It is better to work on finding somebody who is more aligned to you. It sometimes is our ego and our obsession to be loved, and we don't like to be rejected because of our own wounding. There are those type of work that can actually bring somebody back into your life, but that is never ever love. That is more like a weakening of the energy, feeling manipulation. And they never ended up together, and they never ended up happy, because everything you give back from a negative or lower vibration, it will come back to you in a negative, lower vibration. I just want you to become aware of it, that it is very important to honor that everybody has free will. And sometimes one of the lessons when somebody leaves your life is to really focus on you and choose, do I want to have somebody in my life who doesn't want to be with me? Do I want to have somebody in my life who doesn't care or about my feelings, about emotions of me? Because there is millions of people out there. So just a little bit of awareness, because I'm tired of those scammers that, oh yeah, he was supposed to be with you, or this and that. People get scammed for real. Okay.
Great. I know Dolly's got something to share. Just before Dolly shares, I want to jump in with a few things. So we keep talking about subjects that have their own controversies with them, so I wanted to say enough about that. I often talk about a continuum between like psychotic and psychic, and there may be various reasons why people might be neurotic or psychotic or have other struggles, and some of it may be explained by, like as we were talking about here, like an inability to distinguish where different voices are coming from and to not get caught in some different voices. And all of our tools may be helpful with some of these things. And it's also possible that people may have something, how should I say, there might be um, energies connected with them that can be separated, that can cleanse things and heal things and have the person have a healthier, better, different experience, I guess. And it also could be physical things that we don't know how to shift and change with the tools that we use. And it could be the person's not willing, and there's just so much complexity in that. If someone uses modern tools that are part of more Western medicine, like this is okay. We want people to support themselves and whatever works for them. Okay. Let's see. Dolly's got something else to share about this too. And then we've got other great questions.
Okay, so in regards to the general question about is doing bad spells bringing bad karma, I'm gonna say no, along with multiple people saying variously that, your intention is very important. And like I said, and I believe that's strong, saying that whatever you speak, that is a spell on its own. And you're starting to embody that energy and manifest it and internalize it, and then it ends up externalizing it into your environment. Another thing that's very important with spells, you want to get spells where you have consent. You don't want to be changing someone else's will or their permissions or doing any third party spells. You want to be focusing more on your inner self and making it focused on you and your self love. Along with that, try to use spells as a catalyst, as like a little stepping stone, and making sure you do the actual real world step to go and achieve your desired goal. And then the next question was, can you do spells to activate your gifts? Yes, you can. There's spells like road openers and things for your crown chakra and stuff of that nature to help with your give a little boost to your gifts, but you also have to do the work, like have a good spiritual hygiene routine, make sure to cleanse and protect your energy and stuff of that nature. So I hope that helps.
Great, thank you so much. I'm responding to the question that was just put in the chat. Maybe I'll finish saying it. So the great question that just came in, and this starts to get into a personal question where general questions we're answering for free, and for personal questions, we would like you to contribute to us to do our advertising to bring people in so we can have a panel like this. So it's sliding scale 20 to 28 and $12 for BIPOC folks. And if you have already paid, please let me know. And okay, great. Thank you so much. We're excited about that. And gosh, let's see if we can say a little bit about the general questions, and let's get to Sage's question really quick then. Okay. Gosh, if we can say anything quick about these questions. So I want to go to the third one. Maybe we'll go to the third one, and then we'll do the Sage's question, and then we'll come to the second one, because the second one is a big other question. Okay, so the third question that came in was about sigils, and are sigils a form of magic or like a form of spell work? And then a question of aiming to remain positive when there's conflict around. Like, and is that also a version of like a gift in magic? And there was an answer already given in the chat about yes, these are totally magic work. And some of you may say some other things about sigils. We should probably talk about what sigils are. And I want to say about staying positive or calm when there's conflict or other stuff going on around us. It can be a gift, and it can also come from our wounding, right? So are we doing it from choice, or are we doing it from a reaction and wounding? And it still may be of service, but not necessarily a good thing for us, depending on where it's coming from in us. That's my opinion. All right, does anyone want to speak about sigils and what sigils are, and if sigils fall in this realm? Yeah, go ahead, Lorelei.
I like this topic because I work with runes, and runes are often used as a kind of sigil. They call them bind runes. If for those of you that don't know, runes, they're just letters in an ancient alphabet, but each letter has a very specific meaning, kind of like Latin. It has the letters have a meaning, like the alpha and the omega, the Elder Futhark. I'm looking at it because what's around here, those are runes. And they'll put them together, and a sigil. So that's a binding, which is a sigil, but a sigil can be really anything you want. There's some famous sigils that are in grimoires and books that you can use that have sort of the power of the group mind behind them that you can use. But you can use anything, just as long as it's meaningful for you. The thing that's lovely about sigils is, and the same with bindings actually, is that nobody but you knows what that means. So if you want to have a positive intention about something and you create a sigil around that, or you're trying to manifest something, create a sigil around that, nobody knows what that is except you. Every time we look at it, you're empowering it with your memory of your intention. And yeah, it's absolutely magic. All of this stuff, in my mind, it's magic. And if a witch is somebody that does magic, then it's witchcraft, I guess. I don't know if there's a hard line definition of it. Jennifer, you might have that, because I know that there's in my introduction, I said I don't necessarily identify as a witch, but other people have identified me as a witch. But then there have been witches that have disidentified me as a witch, if that makes sense. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what but It is certainly magical. Sigils are magical, and I don't know. Yeah, everybody has. Yeah, I'm not sure. And I don't know, Jennifer. Maybe you can. Yeah, speak on this. Take it away, my friend.
I yeah, sure. Um, yeah, well, and Norse work with the runes and all of their mystical power in the years and centuries they've been in use, um, is a big part of what gives them so much spirit and power. And they're not just letters that have sounds; they have a whole rich story to each one of them. So that there's really deep meaning. It's not just a single letter; it's um, a whole thing, a whole little ball. Um, so yes, those are one type of sigils. There's also sigils where people will reduce or increase words and pile the letters together. There's gematria, which is a long formal practice where you do out a square and you do a mathematical formula and then you change it to letters and then you draw a sigil across it, which is a very meditative and powerful practice because there's so much involved in it and a lot of learning behind it. And that can be part of what gives these their power, is the effort that you take as you write the thing, as you create the thing, as you build the thing. That can be a big part of where the power comes from. Whether I'm taking time to write it with marker on a piece of paper or I'm carving it in stone is going to be a very different process and a very different effort for me. So that's a bit about sigils, but there's lots of ways. There's lots of books. There's lots of different types of sigils to lots of different paths and cultures and theories and lots of ways to use them. But they definitely are powerful symbols that people use in lots of ways for protection and whatnot. Yeah.
I just want to add that traditionally, sigils or any sort of script that was written down, it was not just imbued with intention, to be quite honest. It was usually there were bodily fluids involved, spit, blood. Um, I'm not going to like give voice to all of it, but anything that comes out of the human body, tears, and I'm saying everything was used in that kind of work. A really quick story: I was studying with a Swedish um, um, troll master. In Sweden, a magical person is called a troll master. Trolls are magical people in Swedish. They're not the ugly big guys that live under bridges. They're magical people. And he was giving this class, and he said that one of the things they used to do is they would take an apple and say a spell around it and then rub it under their armpit and then get the girl to eat it so that they would fall in love with them. And I'm laughing. And my, my teacher's saying, Lorelei, do you think that's funny? I'm like, I don't even know how I'm here. How did my ancestors manage to procreate if this is how they courted each other? and then and then he says, it's not that bad. You don't really taste anything. And I'm like, oh my God, you did it. You tried your own, like, that's so anyway, I just had to share that funny story, but there's a lot more that can be gone into using sigils in traditional witchcraft or trolldom, or the work of the Saitgronas, that and so many different words. That shaman is the magical word for the Sami people. So yeah, it gets crazy. It gets really interesting, and again, it's the correspondences. It's fun to pull all that stuff together.
That's great. I'm multitasking, so hopefully I haven't missed something, but I got to throw in a biological fact in there with your story. So we as humans figured out so many things before modern medicine figured stuff out, the figured stuff out stuff. And so I think we all know that menstruating people tend to menstruate at the same time. And gee, we discovered that, oh, it comes from our underarm sweat, and that's how we our cycles link up. So yeah, that was used for that has an impact on attraction. It probably does. Who knows? We know that we can smell when our immune systems are related in terms of reproducing. So yeah, I'm sure. These are great stories and all the things we've all figured out. Right? Biology knows without having to know it in some funny human way. All right, great. Well, let's see. We have a question. Few things I got to say before, some things I usually say at the very beginning, but before I ask the question. And the person that is asking the question, I need to know if you want to come up on stage with us and be on camera, if you want to ask from your chair, if you want me to read your question. You wrote your question in the general chat. I have already said your name, so I assume your name is okay. Let's see. So this is a great opportunity for all of you to learn from all that's asked and all that's answered and all the general questions and discussion, whether or not you're asking a personal question. This is a great opportunity to practice your opening your intuition because you can see for yourself how you would answer someone's question while we are answering. We request that you keep your answers to yourself generally while we are answering. If you want, when we're done, you're welcome to private chat the person that asked the question and see if they want to hear what came through you that might be for them. In this case, the person might be on a phone and they might not even notice that you wrote them. Please don't take it personally if they don't want to hear what you share, they don't respond. Just trust they might be full and it's of service to you that it came through in some other form. And you might have something come through that's great that we don't share. Trust that again, it's there for you for some other reason. It's confirmation if we end up sharing something similar to what you would share, that we're all tapping into the same thing. And when you ask a question here or anywhere, you ask the question, if we go deeper than you want us to go, you don't want us to share all the way over there when we are on camera and we're going to publish it, or we talk about this other thing and you don't want us to share about that. You want us to stay here. Let us know, interrupt us, and give us guidance if we wander outside of whatever it is you want us sharing. All right. All right. And you want to stay in the chat. Okay, great. I am going to read out the question. Okay. I have been curious if I have a witch wound because I feel guarded about my gifts as I grow. I'm native, and healers run in my family line, and I have ET past lives. This is going to get related now to the second question that we didn't talk about yet. I am wondering if anyone on the panel can pick up on anything and give me more clarity. I want to keep growing. All right, so do I have a witch wound? I feel guarded. Really, do I have one and what to do about it is my guess, right? I feel guarded about my gifts as I grow. Right, I'm native and healers run in my family. Yeah, and you're fine with everything that comes through with all of us as we answer. Great. And we don't have like a huge lineup of questions. So we usually say about 3 minutes to answer, but it's okay to take a little bit longer, everyone. And yeah, great. And I know Lorelei, you're not using the technology, so you just have to let me know when your hand's ready. We have Dolly in line and then DoveLight. So yeah, Dolly, go ahead and share. Get you unmuted. Yeah, take your time. And just so everyone knows, if I'm not going to look specifically for 3 minutes, but I'll go ahead and time. And if I feel like you happen to be going like really long and we should shift, I'll just do something like this to let you know that close up soon. Go ahead, Dolly.
All right, then. So you asked if you had a witch rune during that time. I pulled some cards from you. So the first card that I got for you was the protection card. So this is showing and emphasizing that you do a lot of protection on trying to really hide that side from your family and really not trying to showcase that to anybody unless you feel like you can trust 110% with your full heart and soul, like you feel like they won't judge you, they're not going to mistreat you or try to take advantage of you and your abilities and your healing. It's just kind of reminding me of the time when I used to be hiding away my spirituality side. So I always try to mask it under the norm things, like, okay, working my 9 to 5 and all that and all the other stuff. Like I would just try to brush it under and just kind of be as discreet as possible. Now I'm like loud about what I do. So just trying to get that voice to be comfortable, to be able to speak your mind. I recommend doing a lot of throat chakra stuff. So like wearing blue, eating blue item related things like blueberries, working on certain yoga poses and affirmations to really help open that throat chakra and really trying to find that tribe where it best fits align with you and where you feel like you're comfortable and safe in. And just really trying to emphasize on your power to be confident in what you do and your healing abilities and trying to talk about it. Like, see if you can connect with your certain family members who do and have their abilities and see like their stories and see how you connect and like really work on trying to embrace it. I think that's the best thing for you is just learning how to embrace it and be around others who do the same as well. And so that is what I have for Sage's question at this time.
Great. Thanks so much, Dolly. All right, we've got DoveLight and then Lorelei and then Anna. Go ahead, DoveLight.
Okay, I usually do this in my private. So I'm gonna try since I have a little bit time. So here you have the Hierophant Dead, Knife of Cups, Four of Wands, the Knight of Cups. It's up to you and have an attitude of gratitude. While we were reading your questions, I definitely pick up that you do have to give. It's part of your ancestry. But one of the soul's lessons, if it resonates, is to master them. There is a lot of self-love healing to do because it is very important that you learn how to trust yourself. I feel like there is some inner child work to do as well because part of the gift that you have will not be able to completely open up if you don't feel safe, and you cannot cheat your subconscious, you cannot cheat your heart. So in order for you feel safe within yourself, in order for you to trust yourself that you can be there for you, there is some self work, inner work to do. I can see that you have the Knights of Cup in the dead, so definitely some mediumship going on there, communication with the spiritual realm. Four of Wands is that you are meant in this lifetime to move away from the past. If you had a past, a childhood past who was very sad or terrible things happen, you are meant to be moving away. You're meant to do your own home. Four of Wands, it's also your ancestors here telling me they do want to work with you. They do want to communicate with you, and they want to guide you towards a brighter future than the one you know before. But there is a transformation to be done yet with the dead, and that transformation has to be at your own time. And once again, it's all about trusting your own value, trusting yourself. Nine of Cups is saying that you do have the power to manifest your gift, but it is up to you with the Oracle card, up to you to choose to do the changes that you might need to make in order to be more comfortable with the way that you are. And that change might be very simple. Stop calling yourself stupid, or calling yourself not good enough, or oh, nobody's gonna like me, or oh, me, no, I don't think so. No. So it's all about that inner work. Have an attitude of gratitude. Start telling me that your ancestors used to do ceremonies of gratitude to the land, to the spirits, to nature. So as long as you keep gratitude for what you already have, you're gonna be in a good path for what is come. So don't get too focused on what you don't have, and appreciate what you have at this moment, because it is all about aligning to yourself, and yourself, it's a light. It's a divine, like an angelic divine. But if we don't feel very angelic, it is because we have to also sometimes not break, but to heal the boundaries that we put to protect ourselves. So that's a little bit that I'm picking up from there. I think that was your questions. That's what I'm picking up for that type of wound that you have to, if you choose to do something about that. Thank you.
Okay, great. I'm just checking to see. Okay, great. Yeah, great. Okay, and then Lorelei. You're muted, Lorelei. Let's get you unmuted.
Yep, there we go. I'm really tuned in, Sage, to the ET side of your trauma, because what I feel like with that is a sense of abandonment, a sense of not belonging. And then if you layer on top of that, you have past lives where you try to fit into a tribe, and yeah, it just doesn't work. Because it feels to me, my friend, that your very soul was actually, it didn't, it came from another planet. It was created in another planet, I guess you could say. And it's, but you're here now and you're getting the hang of things. You're working the human thing. You're getting there. but I feel like I feel the blue people. I call them. I think there's supposed to be Pleiadians, but it's blue people. And the other thing is that they communicated with their thoughts more. So being able to articulate what you're really feeling and perceiving, it may be a challenge for you because that's not like your imprinting, I guess you could say, like when you're created, that's not your imprint, the giving voice to things. And it's, being psychic and being overwhelmed with people that don't have the control or the discipline. Most people are very loosey-goosey about what they're thinking and what they're feeling because they don't think that anybody notices, and most people don't, but you do. So yeah, you do have that wound. I'm do feeling more of the ET thing, and then yeah, it is a thing. Um, we're eternal beings, and just remember, my friend, life is an adventure. It's fun, and just think, it's like you signed up for this, and it's a long game. Wow. There's so much more I could say. But I do really want to just keep saying, you've got this. You can do it. And have fun with your life. Have fun with the fact that, yeah, you do know things. And you'll get there. You will find your tribe. And you just have to keep looking. And like Lorelei Shimayo said earlier, you have to be willing to be seen and to see other people as well. Anyway, I'll stop there.
Thanks, Lorelei. Next we have Anna.
So I pulled a card, and the card is joy. And it's an interesting card. Joy, what joy has to do with it. When you begin to connect to your true spirit, you have joy. And it's a special kind of joy, recognition, upliftment. It feels like you begin to be filled with light. But so often, people are too quick to bring their gifts out and to share them, to use them. If you imagine that you are growing a flower and it's still small, fragile, it's getting bigger, it's getting more powerful. But this feeling of you need to guard it because in the past life, you had an ancestor who shared their gifts too early, and it did not go well. So you have to learn how to connect to this joy of recognition, joy of remembering who you are, and at the same time, learn to recognize when it's not a good time or not a safe place to share those gifts so you can continue growing them, but guard them not with fear. When you have fear, you actually not protect it. So guard them like a beautiful flower with your inner joy and love, and keep growing. You got it.
All right, great. Anyone else? No, I have a bit to share, but I want to give, let's see, Susana or Jennifer, did you want to share? Totally up to you. You don't have to. All right, great. I'll share a little bit. I was just listing off. Oh no, Susana, did you want to go?
Can you repeat the question? I'm trying to find
Sure.
it.
Yeah. It's multiple parts. Here, I'm just going to put it in the chat again. It was in the chat before, so I'm going to put it in the chat again.
Oh, thank you.
So I've been curious if I have a witch wound because I feel guarded about my gifts as I grow. I'm native, and healers run in my family line, and I have ET past lives. I'm wondering if anyone on the panel can pick up anything and give me more clarity. I want to keep growing. And this is from Sage, and Sage also said that they're open to anything that anyone shares on the panel, whatever is coming through around this.
I heard something else with another practitioner that spoke. But your line from the stars is always yours, and you can always connect in with that lineage piece. So I've worked recently with a woman who was wanting out. She just, I want to get out of here. I can't handle the energy here, and on and on. And what we did was we connected her to that home in the stars, her planetary line, and was able to bring that star essence here. And also, so that helped ground the energy instead of the dynamic of wanting to leave, not fitting in, and also the tribe piece. You are your tribe, and that presence, when you bring that energy back home instead of out here, um, per se, you radiate out and will attract your tribe. So your community is here, but you're creating it. So if you're feeling alone, that presence, it's just an element that you're a creator. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I would. And then guarded about your gifts. There's an element of join the MeWe group. We have a lot of fun on the MeWe realm of connecting with your gifts and coming into your essence, trusting your intuition, all that presence. So let's see what else. What is it going to say about that? But again, just let's see. Guarded about your gifts. So let's see, there's some exercises about when unguarding, because when you're guarding, you're in a sense running away. Again, when you hold presence, when you hold that element, the guarding, if you can look at it more so as a benevolent, be benevolent instead of guarding, because you're also putting out the energy of it's almost an invitation to need to fight about it or defend it, that kind of thing. So just play with it, see how you navigate. There's, again, exercises in the element of like Tai Chi and learning to work with your body as far as being here in being physical, being in your physical body in the here and now, and be here now, that current, and being centered. So like Tai Chi is really good. The Tai Chi Cha is really gentle and mellow and easy to learn. So I would recommend, that's what I have for you right now.
Great. So anyone else? So a little bit that I'll share, and people have touched on a whole bunch of these. I'm just going to say it in a different way. So each of the different pieces that you described, it seems that it could be different wounding that's coming up. So the panels, about the witch's wound, but I just think of all of this wounding as connected. So, and I think when people in the panel are talking about finding your tribe, we're talking about finding your people about wherever you're heading, whatever your healing gifts, whatever that is that's emerging. Finding the people that are in the direction of where you're going. So you're around more of them and you feel safe and you feel okay and included and you feel welcome and you're able to explore and take risks and it's safe. So I think that's part of what we're wanting. So coming from a Native community, certainly if you're here in the United States, I'm imagining that you have ancestors that have genocidal wounds. And so like a fear that there's something fundamentally wrong that somehow you're fundamentally flawed. And so looking to see if there are beliefs about that are getting in your way. Right? For some people, it comes from more of a witch's wound, and it totally, if your whole people, like so much of your people are annihilated, like there's so much fear and trauma and wounding around that. So that can be all mixed in. And then having ET past lives, I think it depends on the belief system of the native people that you're from. They may embrace that, or it may be that they don't embrace it, and then you feel separate from them to embrace that part of your history. So I think the context that you're in and the beliefs of the people around you matter a lot. So, and it could be just knowing that you have ET history. I think that people from this history that land here feel separated, and someone else said the abandonment wounding, right? So there could be wounding and trauma from that, and feeling all alone and not being connected to the people that you're from in that way, or the beings that you're from in that way. And then, and there may be fear of standing out and being different in terms of the native community that you're from, if they don't embrace it, and they might. And then in terms of the witch wound, I think of that as like the fear of being special or the fear of outdoing others, the tall poppy syndrome. Like that if there's any way that we stand out above the others, like, right? So it can be a whole group getting cut down, and it can be the individuals that stand up. And so all these things can lead us to hold back. So it's for you to see which of these are like more present for you. And then there's work to do around whatever these things are that are here. I think being around other people that have been on similar journeys and are further ahead of you, mentors in that way of wherever you're going, people that are on the same journey and similar to you, like all that's really a good, healthy thing. And you don't necessarily know until you know. So putting yourself in these different communities and see where you feel the most resonance, where you feel the most supported is the way to go. Yeah. So that's the bit that's here for me. I get glimpses of you in it must not be here because there's nothing here, but I had a glimpse maybe on your payment and like this itty bitty little teeny tiny thing. And just from my feeling of your energy in that is that you're energetically sensitive and learning to have healthier boundaries energetically and shielding will help you feel safer in your experience in your body. So I think that with all these things, like that would be something supportive of you. And there are tons of tools for doing things like that. Anything else anyone on the panel wants to share with Sage? And again, if anyone else has things to share, please go ahead and private chat Sage directly after we finish answering. Oh, Anna, go ahead, Anna.
So just had this coming through me that the part which is afraid to grow, you need to talk to it because this part is really afraid. And if you keep trying to grow while this part is like saying, no, no, it's just a struggle. And you need to have a talk to it. You have to have some safe, comforting, accepting talk. This part is a child. You have to say, what's going on? And make this part feel that it's okay to grow.
Yes, I say being tender with the parts in you, the little parts in you that are scared, right? That were legitimately scared and got you here to be bigger. Loving them and knowing that they have done their job. And letting them know that they don't need to do their job anymore. Unless they do, because you're not in a safe place yet. So get yourself in that safer place with other people, with shielding, all those kinds of things. It doesn't mean to leave all the other people alone, just knowing where it's safe to share certain things about your journey. All right, great. Thank you so much for your question. If anyone else wants to pay and ask us a personal question, we would love to support you. We have time to answer another question. You are very welcome. And we have some other general questions. Let's see, let's go to the one that this started to tap into earlier from Daniel. Here we go. No, maybe it's up here. All right. Witchiness seems to be a very earth-oriented and even earth-centric question or concept, really, an earth-centric concept. How does witch consciousness relate to intergalactic consciousness and by extension, those souls from elsewhere as kindred and allied, as invasive or at least incompatible? What a rich, juicy question. I will put it in the bottom here so everyone can see that one. Great. Yeah, so what do we do with the idea of, I mean, I kind of touched on it a little bit in my answer in that it's a type of wounding, can come from all kinds of sources. But yeah, go ahead, unmute DoveLight if you can and share so it's all in the video would be great. Oh, Anna, go ahead. I think Anna and then Lorelei, go ahead, Anna, and then or like yeah, I guess DoveLight, are you ready? Go ahead and unmute and share first, and then we'll have Anna and then Lorelei.
Oh no, I don't even know where is the question. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I
then it got moved around. Oh, you're answering another one. Never mind. Okay. I'm good. We have another general question to get to afterwards. You started to respond to that one, and I got mixed up. All right. So I think Anna had her hand up, and then Lorelei.
So which one? A part of it that we are separated from our knowledge and separated from ourselves and from the earth. So when you start embodying being a witch, and I am using this in a general sense, so you first begin to reconnect to yourself, to your body, to the earth, to plants, to animals. And because of this, it seems that witches are more earth oriented. But for the spirit, there is no time and no space. Those are human concepts. So when you continue connecting, you can connect to everything, any planet, any star. And when you understand that you have your energy precious and special, you learn that there are spirits who want to use it, who want to attach to you, who want to use your energy. And you learn to guard, you learn to put a shield, you learn to say no when a spiritual entity tries to enter. You just say no. And sometimes you receive messages and you feel that's not aligned, that's not your energy. So you just say no, don't talk to me. So when you learn to do this, then you are really connected to everything, not just the earth.
Great. Thank you so much, Anna. Lorelei. Oh, let's get you unmuted again.
Okay. One of the most famous historical witches or witchy figures is a man named Aleister Crowley. He wrote grimoires and he lived in England. I think it was in the late 1800s, early 1900s, around that time frame, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, towards the end of his life, he was channeling an ET figure. And it's really actually kind of bizarre because it looks, the drawings of it look a lot like the gray aliens that a lot of people work with now, like Bashar. And so, so just working with precedent, I guess you could say it's like, yeah, it is related. And I like what Anna said. It is really, in my mind, it's about expanding your awareness, your mind. so that you can connect to things that are not just with your physical water bubble eyes. The Tibetans will call these the water bubble eyes. There's the mind's eye. There's a lot to understand and to see when you begin to dive into those realms and to connect to. And you see the consciousness of trees, not to see it. I mean, I do see it in my mind's eye, but especially the really ancient trees, the guardian trees. I mean, they're wise, ancient spirits, but there's information to be discovered in every plant, every animal, every rock, every crystal. And there, even with bacteria, it has a spirit. Bacteria has a kind of spirit to it. And in fact, so a little side note, they know now that water has a kind of weird bacteria that it looks a lot like neurons, and you can find it microscopically across just about every lake, and it spans the whole ocean. And it's really kind of cool to me. It's like, what if that's the lady of the lake? We're seeing the neurological presence of the lady of the lake, the consciousness of the water. And that's what we strive to connect to. And we don't really care. We can't censor any of this. I mean, are angels part of witchcraft? Yeah, absolutely. If you look at the grimoires of Solomon, he was one of the I think, I don't know, could be argued that he wrote, at least in Western magic. I don't really know about South American magic or Asian magic so much, because those are very ancient traditions as well. But in Western magic, Solomon probably produced what is considered the first grimoire, or one of the first, certainly the most famous. And within those grimoires, those magical books, he worked with angels and sigils and astrology. So yeah, yeah. Um, so yes, that's the answer to your question is yes.
Oh my gosh. So this is the question of digging through my. Yeah, so witchiness being earth-centered, and how does it relate to all these other things? Go ahead, DoveLight.
Thank you, Laura. I finally found the questions. So many messages. Witchiness means how does witch consciousness relate to intergalactic consciousness by extension to soul power? The Earth was made from a star seed from the universe. Water was made from a star seed from the universe, was forming water, then Earth, then we are part of a galaxy. We are part of a universe. We are part of. I truly also believe that a lot of the animals and a lot of the plants and the consciousness here on Earth are actually seeds from other beings, from other galaxies on other planets, that they did like a little mix up here, like a garden, if you will. So I truly believe it's all about oneness. It's all about oneness. Psychic can be a witch, a medium can be a witch. There is very traditional witches with traditional things, but also a free spirit can be a witch. You know, it is about being connected to life, being connected to the divine. Is that oneness? I truly feel like by extension, I feel like we are one. And when you connect with that oneness, no matter from what path are you going, we can meet each other in that field.
Great, thank you. Yep, it's a good reminder of where Earth is from, right? Where we are all from. Any other answers to that general question? Jennifer, go ahead.
Yeah, I would add really the same of what a lot of others have said is when you start to do this work, as you see all the energy around us and the energetic bodies, and you see beyond what our simple eyes can see, and you start to understand and feel other things, we definitely start out earth-based, and that's where a lot of the ritual spirituality part of it. But as you open all of those abilities and build those capabilities, you definitely see and notice so much else that goes on around us. I don't see that there's necessarily conflict. I don't think I've ever run into anybody who's on New Age, metaphysical, these sorts of modalities, paths that has a dislike or distrust of others with any general stance. So I don't think they would see them as an other or something to be against. Definitely, we would be able to notice them often and sense that there's someone there who's a little different, like we are, and hi, nice to see you, kind of thing, but not necessarily an animosity in any way, no sort of anger.
Great, great. All right, if there isn't anything else, I'm writing a response back to one person in the chat. Meanwhile, some of us have started to answer one question in the chat, and I think it would be good to speak it all in the video a little bit. It was about basically it's how did we find our people? There's so much out there, doesn't all come from a positive energy. So how do we find our people? So yeah, go ahead. We've got Jennifer and then DoveLight. Jennifer, if that's your hand up again, or yeah, great.
Yeah. So my husband was in the military. So we moved every 2 or 3 years. So being this type of other, right, it could be very tricky to find my people, to find my community. And there's great value in that. Like we've talked about with some of the other folks, you get to explore your gifts and truly be yourself and let your light shine and all of these things when you're with other people. You know, when I walk up to someone and I talk about, oh my gosh, did you see the moon last night? And their face lights up, I know you are my people, right? If I walk up and say something like that and you look at me kind of like there was a moon, what? Yeah, not so much. So finding all these other people, I used to do it the old way. I'd go find bookstores, find metaphysical shops, find these sorts of places, talk to the people who are there, find out if there are classes, find out if they have a meet and greet night. And that was how I would start to find the people to spend time with, to talk with. Does anybody have a book club? Would anybody be interested in reading this thing I found? And that's a way to build an actual physical personal interaction. There's lots of ways to find things online. And of course, you have found us here. So this is a great community that I've had a great time with, really beautiful people. I would say when you're working with the online people and even the real life people, to learn to listen to your gut, right? Listen to your discernment and understand not everybody's in it for all the same reasons. There are charlatans out there who are trying to sell you some snake oil. There are various things that happen that are a little distasteful. And so always, if your heart or your gut tells you that, oh, there's something wrong here, I don't want to be around this person, listen to yourself and walk away. It's okay, because there are plenty of us out there. You will find more people to spend time with, and you find ways to drop little cues. Whatever the thing is that you're into, that you talk about little things here and there, and you see whose face lights up and engages you in a conversation, and other people who look at you like you're a little bit crazy, and that's okay. They're just not your people today. And you will find the people as you go and develop relationships, and it gives you a chance to develop your gifts.
Great. Thanks so much, Jennifer. DoveLight is next, and then Anna.
It is very important to really get to know yourself and also to understand that in this world there is different levels of consciousness. There is not necessarily people better or worse than ourselves. They're just where they are. So even in the spiritual communities, you can find people which you don't resonate with. And so it's very important to know what is it that you truly like and what not. So you know how much to open or not. It depends up to you. But you know, for that you need to have a healthy boundaries, also a healthy understanding. For example, I can speak with certain people about energy healing. They can understand it. And for other people, that maybe cuckoo. So it is not that I'm gonna judge them that they don't believe me, they don't agree with me. It's just they have to honor that we are in different parts in our journey. So how do you know? Where's the question? How do you know you can find your tribe? You know, because you feel at home. You feel safe to be yourself. And you also, it's very important that you call upon your tribe too spiritually, to meet the people who resonate with you, who learn to grow and be with each other. Because sometimes these people come into our life in cycles, so help us to evolve and grow. I think that's one of the best way to call upon your tribe. Don't even in the spiritual people are sometimes you can find people who are not necessarily positive oriented, but that doesn't mean they're not trying their best in their own journey. But then you are discerning. Okay, that's for them. That's not for me. Yeah, it can be tricky.
Great. Thanks so much, DoveLight. We've got Anna and then Lorelei.
So one reason why it's so important to explore your wounds and to go and dig deep and see what is there, what is stored in your unconscious is because a wound can separate you from your tribe. They could be right there, but you're not seeing them. And you may, because you are guarded, because you expect that people are there with not positive energy, you are sending this intention and you are attracting it. So when you heal, when you truly heal, you begin to distinguish between your worries, your busy mind talking to you, and the voice of your intuition, voice of your spirit. And then you can discern. You will be just like magic, guided to people like I, been guided to this community. I have not even idea how, where, but I got there. So when you heal the wound, when you stop allowing fear to talk to you, scare you, guide you, you begin to go into your heart, into your gut, and then your intuition will be kind of leading you, guiding you, warning you, and you will discover your people.
Thanks so much. Okay, Lorelei.
So I'm going to suggest that you lead off with curiosity. I've found that asking other people questions about things will get them talking about stuff. And then I can engage with them in a way that allows us to connect and to meet. I also want you to maybe consider like what the heck do I mean by tribe? What do you mean by tribe? Because I have friends that I have known for many, many lifetimes, and I am too out there for them, but they are people of my heart. I love them, but we connect, in about different things, in different ways. Then I have people that I can share these really deep, fascinating conversations about mystical, historical, esoteric whatnots. But they're a bit of a jerk, and I don't really want to hang out with them. And but I love having those conversations. But do I want to like hang out with them for a whole evening? Might be a bit much. You know what I'm saying? So, um, one of the things that I found also is that over the years, I really recognize people that I've known in other lifetimes. If you ever meet somebody and you're like, oh my God, do I know you from somewhere? And they just look so familiar. And and you're just sure, like, do I like I must have known you. And it's what's interesting, what I found is a lot of those people that are really familiar to me like that, like I'm not that drawn to have a deep relationship with them. It's like maybe I've been there, done that. I don't know, but I'm not. So what I've and the other thing that I want you to consider is that maybe your tribes can have like Venn diagrams of tribe people. Mine do. I have different people that I have connections with. Um, and go to events. You have to kind of you have to just kind of go to where the people that are interested in the things that you are interested in, whether that's astrology, whether it's energy healing, whether it's herb crafting or ET stuff, and allow your curiosity to lead you by the heart and just be open. Curiosity feeds the soul. So have fun with it. And I think just by asking this question, you're already stepping into that. You already are there. Anyway, that's all.
Great, thanks. I wrote an answer in here too, and wherever my answer is, I put in steps. There we go. Okay, and I think these are general steps that are useful for everybody for getting to wherever they want to go. So in general, the best I knew how, I pursued what I loved. I wanted to find what it is I loved. So anything that glimmered in any way, kind of like what I loved, I took steps in that direction. And that's one. And then two, I spent time in great community of people. So if I didn't like the people I'm around, go find more people. Find the people I resonate with more and more and hang out with them. And as Lorelei said, it could be different groups of people for different things. And then the third thing is I listened when one of those people in the community had advice for me. Now I did check in, did it resonate? Terrified me. I was like, what the heck? And I'm like, okay, but I could feel it was a good thing to go do. So I went and explored it. And then when I had one of those opportunities show up for this, I like stepped in, even though again I was terrified. And then five, when someone in that group had an idea for me, again, checked in some, felt scared, felt excited at the same time. I did it. So those are my five things. And then I do those things over and over and over. I put myself around good community. I listen when people have advice that resonates with me. I hear ideas. Sometimes the ideas show up from the universe. I might feel scared. I might feel excited. I notice if I feel a strong no, obviously I need to not do that thing for the people, for the idea, for whatever it is. Even a little no. Listen, what's that about? Get curious and keep taking steps. So that's been my secret. And that's how we're here today. That's exactly how we're here today, that we have this group, that all this is happening, right? That I know all these people, and all these people, and you, and all the other people feel some impact from having come to all this stuff. That's why. So yeah, you don't like where it is, go find something else. Go make something else. Just say what you like. Find out who else resonates with it. All those kinds of things. Someone else had ideas about those things too. It's great. All right. Anything else about how we find the people? All right. Yeah, so now there's someone new named Sage. That's a different Sage, I guess. That keeps raising your hand. Yeah, so we have people share in the chat. If you have a general question, you're welcome to share your general like thoughts, ideas, question. We're happy to address that here. If you're paying to ask a personal question, then you have the opportunity of coming up on stage. We have a different event called Cosmic Conversations that is designed to be a conversation with everybody. And we have that coming up again maybe on October 5. I should go look. And that's a place where you can come be in the audience instead of being free. It's $4 or $2 for BIPOC folks. And you can come up on stage and you can be part of the conversation. You have the opportunity of asking a personal question too, but really it's for conversation and discussion. So come to that one to have more of that conversation. But yeah, if there's something else you want to write about in the chat, if you were just excited to be here, right? It looks like you're excited to be here. That's great. And we celebrate you being here. Just like Dolly is here on one of our events for the first time. We are excited to have new people in the audience and new people on the panel. All righty. Did we cover all these general questions? We appreciate all you are that come that help make this a beautiful community. There was a general question about chakra necklaces, or maybe we could say like all kinds of chakra jewelry or chakra window hanging things. And so stones having energy and stones connected to our chakras, and what's the impact of all of them? And this is what are all the things that are witchy? right? All these different things. There was a great answer here by Dolly in the chat. Dolly, do you want to speak some of your answer? And then if anyone else has anything to share about that too.
Yes, I can. So basically, when you're using any chakra jewelry or anything like that, that just really helps to bring that balance and alignment back into your chakras, so that wherever you're lacking of at that point, and it really helps you give back that power to yourself. You're really working on balance and like amplifying the intentions to like help with self-improvement and other things that you may be needing at that time. So it really helps to wear those types of things.
Yeah, so many things are helpful literally as the energy that they are, and sometimes they are helpful as reminders. And we could knock ourselves out of balance with some things too, like the awareness of the impact that all these things have. Some things are great to have around us for energy, and they're not great to have around us when we're sleeping or attempting to sleep, right? All these different things. Jennifer's got some comments.
Yeah, you were talking about just all the things. So, of course, you can carry an herb or a flower or a stone and rely on the energy or use the energy that is innately in that item to do the things that you want it to do. You can ask it to do the things you want it to do. And then, of course, there are items that we bless and consecrate and carry because we want them to be. And then there's the memory, you know, the day I put on my mother's ring because I'm going to remember her all day that day, and she's on my mind and she's in my aura and all around me. It isn't because of the stones that are in the ring or what the ring is made of. It's because of who it belonged to and what it means to me. So there's lots of ways to use all that jewelry, and any item that you might put on yourself or carry with yourself, because the chakra items are meant for alignment and chakra use. If that's something you're thinking about and you're using intuitively, and every time you touch it through the day or see it in the mirror, that it makes you think of those things and be aware and conscious of those things, it's definitely going to boost the work of the stones as you carry them along. So there's lots of ways to use these points in our time. They call them touchstones for a reason.
That's great. Next we've got Anna and then Lorelei. And Susanna's got something in the chat too. Go ahead, Anna.
So it's important to notice. Like here, I have this little owl. It's not any special stone or anything, but every time I put it on, I feel it. And depending on how I feel, I might put on different things. So become conscious of when you put it on, what changes, how you feel. And then you will discover things which bring you the effect that we need.
Great, thank you. Next we have Lorelei.
So, I one of the things that I make and that I sell are Nordic necklaces, Nordic jewelry. I put runes with them, and I make these Nordic prayer beads. And what I've really been struck by is really getting in touch with the different frequencies of the different stones that I use for all the different necklaces that I make. And some of them, I have to confess, like, early on in this, I was like, does it really matter? Does it really make a difference? And I'm like, now that I've been handling them for a lot of years, like, yeah, wow, they really do make a difference. And they do really have subtle shifts in the auric field. Just like big, bold colors might, and different metals do. It's really wonderful and a lot of fun to really get in touch with that and notice how you're affected by those things. Um, there's some stones that are really great with EMF absorption of stuff, which is something that you don't find written about in a lot of the old stone books, but there are some that are better than others. Um, I personally am more fond of one stone rather than a whole bunch of different stones, because for me the energy gets a little too confusing unless I'm designing something very specific for myself. And sometimes I will do that, and I'll have very specific stones or very specific things that to me mix just right. So your question about the chocolate thing, what everybody is saying is absolutely true. I totally agree with that. If your belief in the power of something will give it power, but there are powers in certain objects, in certain shapes, in certain things that are also, you know, they go beyond just your personal belief, because there's a group mind belief that rests underneath it. And there's also just, how uh, everything is a frequency, and you have a frequency. So you have a big blob of it. I mean, if you saw the necklace I made myself to meditate with every day, I love lapis. I have the biggest, blobbiest lapis necklace. I love it. It feels so good, and I put it on me, and it's just I can't wear it out because it probably weighs 5 pounds, but I love it, and I just sink into it. So you could look at this as part of your spiritual practice, like dive into this. And does this chakra necklace, do I feel different? Does it do anything for me? If not, well, go to one of the MeWe fairs if you live here. If you don't live here, if you live somewhere else, go to a store or a fair. I like the fairs because it's like lots of different booths where there's lots of different things you can pick up, and pick these things up and hold them. What kind of thoughts do you think when you hold them? What kind of emotions do you feel? Do you feel more anxious? Do you feel more calm? Because there really are sounds that will elevate this part of your body, and some that just make you sink into yourself. I could tell you lots of really outrageous stories about quartz crystals that I've had over my life. But that's maybe a different forum. Anyway, have fun with it and explore it. And again, curiosity, um, I don't know. Does curiosity kill the cat? It's the curious cat that gets the mouse, I'll tell you that.
All right, great. So I know that DoveLight wants to share something, and I wanted to share. We've got a little bit of what do we do here? We had someone pay to ask a question. We only have so much time left. Can some of you stay a little bit longer? Can we answer that question? DoveLight, do you want to share something right now? Do we want to dive into the question?
No, let's dive into the question to honor
Okay,
people's.
great. And then we need to know if you want to come up on stage, if you want to ask from your chair in the audience, or if you want me to read your question. So I know we've got a private chat going. So you just have to let me know what you want to do. Okay, let's see. I see something to everybody. Maybe it's right there. No? You're welcome for your answers. Okay. Okay, please read it. Okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to read it. So it's really a similar question, or the same question that someone named Amber had asked in the general question. It was, I'm so far into free falling and trusting that the universe has me. Could I possibly ask what you all see within my energetic field for what's to come in career and home life, love even? Sure. All right, so I'm so far into free falling and trusting the universe. It's interesting. I'm so far into free falling and trusting that the universe has me. Can I possibly ask what you all see within my energetic field for what's to come? Career, home life, relationships, love, everything. Okay, DoveLight's got something. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for sharing your question, because this is a little bit what we were talking about before. We live in a world of shadow and light when so many terrible things can happen to we know news about around us. And it can be frustrating, and really, to be honest, but being spiritual, having a connection in the divine, whatever you believe the divine might be, it doesn't mean that no, we're not gonna grow through challenges in this lifetime. What it means that even though we are going to pass through ups and downs, because that's the nature of nature, the nature of life, we can have our faith stronger and together by trusting. No matter what's going on in your life, the divine has your back. So just to want to be aware, because sometimes we confuse the being spiritual or praying or giving offerings, mean that all our life is gonna be perfect and everything is gonna be well. It doesn't work that way, because we are here to grow. And I feel like falling trust in the universe has me. It can be challenging. It can be challenging because sometimes we can feel like this world is dragging us down. Like there is so much things going on that we can get overwhelmed. In this case, I would highly recommend for you to find a support system that you might trust or you resonate with, so you don't have to pass through these challenges alone. And okay, so in the cards, I'm seeing the Ten of Swords, Ace of Swords, which is talking about a betrayal. You feel betrayed by the universe, you feel betrayed by people in the past. But there is some clarity, some truth that came out from those experiences. The universe 1000% are asking you to rest, to be patient, divine timing. But it is also about the way that you speak to yourself as well. Just because things are not going the way that you wish to go doesn't mean that you're a failure. If you truly learn something from those previous experiences, if you really learn something, you feel like, hey, at least I'm more aware of this and that, then it was never a waste. It was never a failure. There is a battle between you being a hard, beautiful person and then your mind racing in a perhaps negative way of trying to rush it to accomplish something so you feel more safe. So the recommendation is that it is okay to be concerned and worry about things, but if you just worry and focus on the future that haven't even happened yet, almost like an anxiety I'm picking up about possible future situations that might not and that aren't even happening yet, then you are being your own blockage, your own uh, person who might not allow a clarity. Because this world, I'm not saying this because it sounds pretty, I'm picking up this from your energy field. This world has so much possibilities. You don't know in which way the help that you need might come, but we're so focused on it have to be A, it have to be this way, or if it's not coming A this way, it's not gonna come. The universe has so many ways to help you. It can help you through people, through situations, through messages, through dreams, through being here. The recommendation is to change your perception about why things happen the way that they happen, so you can allow space for solutions for opening ups. I will highly recommend a backplate, an opening road candle, if you believe in that, or a candle with the intention to open up the roads. And please be more gentle with yourself. Like, that's what it's the advice here.
Great. Thank you, DoveLight. Next, we have Anna and then Lorelei.
So I pull the card, and the card is peace. All is in the divine order. So your question has two parts. One is you are trusting, you are falling, and then you ask, you want to know what to come into your career and love. And it seems like there is mistrust, because if you are trusting and falling, then why do you need to know? Any idea of the future will alter this future, will change the future. Anytime you start thinking what to expect, you are changing it. So you need to learn how to cultivate this peace that you know that you are doing already. But in this peace, it's not a state when you just falling and trusting. It's a state in which you begin to create your intentions, what energy you want to bring in. What skills do you need? What knowledge do you need So you are ready when you are falling and resting at the same time. You have to be ready to meet challenges because we will have them. It's impossible not to have any challenges. And in love, you need to learn to discern who truly loves you and who is just trying to take advantage of you, of your trust. So when you build skills like this, you can be in peace, at peace, falling and resting, and yet protected.
Thank you, Anna. Next is Lorelei and then Jennifer.
So, I really want to encourage you to remember that if you're feeling like you're in free fall, to be like Mary Poppins, you gotta pop out the umbrella, slow yourself down a little bit. Um, and I'm sorry that you're feeling like that. I've been there at different times of my life. It's really scary and challenging. So, and honestly, I don't personally hold just like a blank trust of the universe. But I do trust that the universe will trust me to guide where to how can I say this? That when my intentions are really clear, my energy is really in alignment, and I'm steering the boat of my destiny, the universe does seem to help things work out for me, opens doors, and but not always. Sometimes it's like, there's a timing to it, an astrology thing to it, there's a karma to it. I would really love to recommend you to get some energy healing work. Pick whether it's somebody here, somebody at again, one of the MeWe fairs, or look online, but find somebody that you resonate with, because I do feel like you need to clear some stuff out. I personally see like knots of energy that, to me, those are what people would say are like curses, but it's not necessarily somebody intentionally creating, like, a bag of herbs and a traditional curse. It's more like weird thoughts that are banging up into you, they're affecting you, and you're not able to move forward in life because these people that are close to you, and I'm seeing a woman, um kind of like a masculine kind of energy in this female body, but it feels maternal, whether it's actually your mother or a female figure. But there's some old, you know, people might call it programming. There's things that need to be cleared, that need to be pulled out so that you can feel what it is that you really want instead of what you've been told that you should want. Or yeah, because we're getting that information from society all the time, from our families, from social media, from romance books that we've read. We get fed these ideas, and we like the way we they feel to us perhaps when we read about them, but is that really what you want? And you don't really know until you figure all that out, at least even just for a split second. You're like, oh my God, there I am. Sometimes you need help getting to your true self. And then think about the things that you love, even if those things that you love are really mundane. When I'm really out of it, I love hot running water. I'm so grateful for indoor toilets. That's where I go.
By the way, there's some feedback
So,
coming in. So if you have, and we all have feedback, because it's coming in response to your question.
oh,
It says
okay.
exactly. I'm trying to find what direction to go with my life. Do any of you see recommendations from the spiritual side? So
Oh, for the spiritual side of things.
from the spiritual side,
Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, definitely
from the
you're
spiritual side. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, the thing that lights up for me around is if you were to lean into astrology. I think that would be really, I don't know. I think it might float your boat and get you going with things. I better run. I think my dog has to urinate.
Well, go
So
ahead. Can you
I'm
just say again who you are? Say who.
gonna
Yeah. So everyone, if you want, after you're answering, go to say who you are and how people can contact you, and if you have a special and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, can I just say that right now because I gotta go take
Yes,
care of my
yes.
beast.
Say
My
right
name is
now.
Lorelei Hewitt, modern mystic. You can find me at the MeWe fairs. This is it October is the next one. Anyway, the one in Bellevue. Anyway, you can find me on Facebook, on Instagram. My website is easy to remember. It's called a modernmystic.me. And yeah, anyway, go be awesome. Have an amazing life, you all. And I'm gonna go take care of my dog.
Thank you so much, Lorelei.
You're
All right,
welcome.
great.
Bye-bye.
And next we've got Jennifer, Dolly, and if someone that already answered wants to say a little bit more, go ahead, Jennifer.
Hello. All right. I pulled a handful of cards for you. And I found the first card that came out was the Hermit, which is generally, I don't know if I can ever get it to focus with all the other blurring. The Hermit card, and it is about your inner work and the studying and the journey that you've been doing at this point. I get that you are doing a lot of work, and I think that's some of your free fall. I feel like sometimes everything's open and everything's flowing, and it is a lot for you to handle and maybe a little overwhelming. And then there are other times where you're open just enough and you're working through it and you're energetically working through the things, and it's really working well for you to get some control of the volume that's coming to you. I think would help if you find either someone to work with or find a book that gives you some modalities that will really help you kind of handle that and how to work with it. And when things get overwhelming, it's okay to take a step back for a moment, to take a moment to ground, to refocus and recenter, to have a breath and get some clarity for yourself and within yourself without the bombardment of the universe and everything kind of howling into you. Um, I do get that there's a bit of conflict, and just as Lorelei had said, I get the feeling that it is someone outside that maybe has things to say that make you doubt yourself and wonder about yourself. And I get that there are two individuals. One's a bit louder than the other, but their counsel can be useful. It's okay to be thoughtful. I don't think that they have any malicious intent for you. They're on a different belief path and they don't really understand all these things that you're talking about and experiencing, and that's okay. So I don't want you to be angry with them or cut them out of your life necessarily, but maybe don't put as much weight on their counsel when they share things with you. Go ahead and weight it appropriately and maybe find some other individuals to share some of these experiences with as you learn to process them and grow and develop with them. I get that you are looking for some sort of career change at this point, and that there are opportunities coming and possibilities coming, but to take your time, to weigh the balance and to pay attention to what you're doing. I see that there's some exciting opportunities that'll come up, and I would say don't leap too fast. Go ahead and take time to breathe and sit with it and think and contemplate how those choices really would pan out for you in your life and how you want to address them as you move forward.
Great. Thanks so much, Jennifer. Do you want to hang out to the very end or do you want to share about
I'm
yourself
good with
now?
sitting here.
Okay, great. You're great with hanging out. Okay, cool. And then we've got Dolly next.
Could you please repeat the question again? I couldn't see.
Yeah, sure. The question is, and it's right, it's interesting the way it's written. It says, I am so far into free falling and trusting that the universe has me. Could I possibly ask what you all see within my energetic field for what's to come? In career and home life, love even. And then later, they shared, exactly, I'm trying to find out what direction to go with my life. Do any of you see some recommendations from the spiritual side?
Got it. Thank you so much for letting me know the question. Okay. So the first thing I got for you was the King of Waters. So this says compassion, understanding, and trustworthy. Excuse the background noise of my child. So this is really trying to get you to really listen to your intuitive downloads and really work on trying to guide yourself to go out to nature more often. Go walk outside barefoot and just really focus on trying to be more kinder to yourself and know that this situation should be getting able to within the next 2 to 3 weeks to be able to help you recover with your emotions and just being more loving to yourself and just understanding that you went through this process to be able to build your inner strength and just try to get yourself more empowered. We also got the Five of Fire, which is kind of similar to like the Five of Wands. And it's just showing that you've been having a lot of conflict within yourself and a lot of emotional turmoil and just kind of being stressed out and wondering, okay, what is the next thing I need to do? How am I going to get there? Like, I'm far away from my home. Like, I'm out of my comfort zone. Like, what are we going to do next? So you've kind of been really annoyed and frustrated at that, and Spirit's wanting to let you know that you gotta like get out of this little zone and you gotta go and seek other opportunities. I do see you might be finding a new career or financial opportunity coming up shortly. And then the last and final card is you got the King of Earth. So you might be having somebody older assisting you or making you feel able to attain an opportunity that will help improve your financial circumstances and your home life. That way you're feeling more successful. But expect that you should be having someone to come along and help you very shortly soon. And this is someone older that you already known for quite some time. And that is what I have for you.
Great. Thanks so much, Dolly. And the same thing. Do you want to wait until the end or do you want to share about yourself now?
Well, I can wait till the end.
Okay, great. All right. Do we have any more answers for this person? I know I had a little bit of noticing like what seemed like that conflict of you're saying you trust the universe and at the same time you want to know. So you're not that comfortable with the way you were trusting the universe. I'm totally glad that came up. And I just say, well, there's trusting the universe and knowing that we're all connected and all one and non-duality. At the same time, right, there's choice, or at least the facade of choice, and our system being, I think of like a tendril of energy of all one. So like resonance or dissonance, like we're everything and not everything at the same time. So noticing what resonates and what doesn't. And you asked specifically about like all these big things of like work and life and relationship. And so it seems like there's at first I was like, are you wanting something different than there is here? Have you being told that you ought to have something different than is here? It sounds like you have some wanting. And then what steps are you taking towards? So this gets again into freedom and empowerment and choice. And are you merely going with the flow? I think about, and I have no idea if this is you, but I looked up and some photo appeared for me in my search. So I'm going to imagine this might be you. And it sounds like you've been, I'm imagining, right? If this is you, you've been good at some things. Some things have been easy. There's a cultural phrase called like the golden handcuffs, where like things are going so well that we kind of feel trapped in the way that things are going well. And even though we're not that happy, it's only that well. It's really not the satisfaction spiritually. It's not our sole purpose. And even if it was at one point, it's in alignment with it, but we've grown and we want more. And so it sounds like there's more that you want and you're hungry. And so yeah, it's gonna be taking those steps towards those more things. So often people feel nervous and scared like it's something totally new that they've not done. And so I want to encourage you to look to see how you've already done things that are in the direction that you want to go. You already are doing these things. You've already grown. These capacities are already here for you, and they're already showing up in your life. Even if it's been in a more conventional setting. You might be someone that's really strong in your mind, and so there's a part of you that's not quite trusting. Yeah, great. You're looking for your soul purpose. So again, I'm just going to imagine if this is you that I found that just showed up for me. You're really strong in your mind, and it gets you a little locked into the system a little bit. And so the highest lesson of being so strong in your mind is to be an intuitive knower. And you've got other traits that have you trust your intuition. So you've got to look and see how you've already been using your intuition, how it's already here and already showing up. And then in places that feel safer in your life, take some smaller steps. You don't have to leap off a cliff. It doesn't have to be that big. And sometimes cliff leaps happen. So the more that you can take smaller steps so the universe doesn't have to nudge you to take a really big leap, is better. So find places where you can take some steps now. See how you could find safe communities of people for you where you could talk about this and share more and explore things. Like if you are interested in cards, come to more of these events and have cards with you and pull cards and see how you would answer things if this is your interest. You clearly have a lot of capacity to provide insight, I think, and work with people and give advice to people. You totally do it now. So see how you could let yourself do it in other contexts. And in terms of love, you have to be willing to let that in for yourself. Maybe you've had oh, Susanna's going to take off in a second. How you've had to do it all yourself right now. So I'll pause. You don't have to do it all yourself. And yeah, so Susanna, are you not totally gone? Can you share about yourself before we go? Susanna, are you still there? I will share about you if you don't disappear. Oh, great, you're still here. Go ahead.
I
Share about
couldn't
you
find
before
how
you
to leave.
go.
So yeah, I'm Susana. I do Akashic record readings and with the witch's wound and working past life as well as the ancestral line. And my information, I believe, is on the chat. And I'm also offering a $20 coupon for a 1 hour massage, or God, not massage, for a 1 hour session, sorry. And so that's what I have. Thanks.
It's late at night. Thank you so much for being here. And people can reach out to you. Your phone number is connected on here. Do you want to say it so it's on the video? How do you want people to reach you that watch the video that want to reach out to you
Oh yeah, they
afterwards?
can reach me. My email is available, and I think my phone, if my phone number's there. And I'll soon have my website published, so I will next time we come around. So
Okay, great. Sorry. And I see one of your emails that's up on your image right now. So I never know which one it is at the moment. So I'm like, it looks like
okay,
starglyn@gmail.com. So is that, could you
yeah,
spell it for everybody? So it's here.
it's STARGLYNN
Great. Thanks so much. It was great having you
All
here.
right, thank you.
You're welcome. And it's just, is there anything else anyone wants to share with this person that asked the question before we finish up? All right. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. We are going to have the next people on the panel here kind of share again about who they are and how you can reach out to them and if they have a special. Thanks so much for the two of you that asked personal questions. Thank you, everyone else that asked general questions. All right. Anna, Jennifer, Dolly, DoveLight, who wants to go?
So I will go. I am Anna Margolina, hypnotherapist, and I work with people's unconscious mind and all those programming, all those stories, wounds that we store on the inside, and we heal it. I also am author of this book, Witches, which is a story which came through me through channeling, just came to me, and it's a good book. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna. It's been great having you here. And yeah, your book. So in line with our theme. All right, great. Who else wants to share?
I can go ahead and go. My name is Jennifer. I am a practicing witch and have been for over 30 years. I do tarot readings that I offer, and I offer spiritual training. So I can teach about witchcraft, but I can also help folks find their intuition, develop some of the skills and things that are needed for the sorted paths here. And I've done that for a few years. As I said before, my husband was in the military, and the military has things called open circles. So lots of folks come there for fellowship, and learned that I really like teaching. I loved sharing with all the folks. So that has become a bit of my path. I don't have a website yet. I'm jealous that Susanna's almost got hers going because technology. Oh my gosh. So following me on Instagram or Facebook is the easiest way to see what I'm up to and where I'm going to be and what's going on. And Lorelei put up my email. if you wanted to reach out that way.
Great. Thanks so much, Jennifer. All right.
My name is
DoveLight.
DoveLight, and I have a coupon holidays for 20% off any reading after this event. If you would like to have a reading, I'm just a regular person, but I do have a connection with the divine, as everybody else can have. I work with the Angelic realm from Peru. I'm Amazonian and Indian background. I walk the Magian path as well with the indigenous elders. I'm passionate about past life regression, shamanic work, light healing, sound healing. I can actually, one of the gifts that I have, or connections, if you will, it's to be able to sing songs and bring upon messages from your soul. It's one of my favorites I always loved. But in general, you can find me there. I'm also helping to support a men's retreat in Guatemala with indigenous elders, which is going to be led by a Shaninka leader from the Amazonian John and the Mayan elders from Guatemala, from Lake Atitlan. And we have also Chief Felipe from North America. If everybody's interested, any man or sacred masculine is interested, you can see that on my link tree. And have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much, DoveLight. And then Dolly.
Hello, everyone. I am Dolly. I am a tarot and oracle reader, also energy healer. I have a code. If you use the word fair, you get 20% off on your reading. I hope you guys all have a good night.
Great. Thank you so much. And let's see, I think you said pinkalicious187@gmail.com. People can reach you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been great having you here. I know it's a late night, depending on where you are. So thanks for being here. And let's see, I'm Lorelei Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader. You can find out more about me at intuitiveeyereading.com, and you can find out more about all of our events at MeWeFairs.com. One thing new that we're doing is we have 5 or more practice circles a month, and you can pay once to come to all the practice circles that you want to come to. And you can also come to all of the intuition coaching matchmaking sessions that I have. So 5 or more practice circles and 12 or more drop-ins for the intuition coaching that I have during the month. And we have a practice circle tomorrow night that starts at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. East Coast time. We have another one coming on Sunday, September 28th at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. East Coast time. And then during the day, we have on Monday special requests. I'm taking special requests if you want to come and you can't come to the times we've got. We've got 11 a.m. Pacific time, which is 2 p.m. East Coast time. So those are some of our upcoming practice circles. Thank you so much. You can find out everything else at MeWeFairs.com. Thank you everyone so much for being here. We can only do this when we do this together.